Welcome back. That was our health tips segment talking about pneumonia. If you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Abuja and we are showing on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Now, how do you learn? For some people, they learn either through writing, through reading, through listening, or by watching other people. Today on the program, we'll be talking about reading and writing. We have an author with us in the studio, and his name is Japheth Prosper. And we'll be discussing about his books, how he started the journey, the reading culture in Nigeria, and so much more. So please stay with me as we talk to our guests. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
All right, now you are an author.
Yes.
But before we delve into that aspect about your life and how you started the journey, let's talk about the reading culture in Nigeria, especially amongst youth. Do you think the culture of reading is dying or is growing back?
Well, the culture of reading has always been there. A lot of people are inquisitive. They want to know things. But when you want to understand it better, you separate reading from studying. I think the culture that is actually dying is the culture of studying, culture of researching and all that. But the culture of reading, if you have something that I feel good about to read, if I feel this material is okay for me to read, of course I'll go for it. And most often my stories it's all encompassing kind of stories. You don't understand. Children can pick up my book and read. The adults can read. Everybody can read. So it's not as if the stories I write are actually meant for a particular audience. So if you have good things to talk about, people want to read.
Okay.
Yes.
So are you saying that the culture now has not died per se? Can this be attributed to the fact that because we have the internet and you can read a lot of things off the internet?
That is reading.
Okay.
If you are reading on the internet, it's reading. And a lot of people are glued to their phone as we speak. People read a lot. People tend to think that people don't read because people actually don't. Like, for instance, let me give you an example. My books, a lot of people will call and say, please, can I get soft copy of your books? It shows that a lot of people are reading on the internet. And I use the internet to advertise my books. So obviously a lot of people are reading. If you have good products, people will always want to buy.
Okay, now speaking about reading off the internet, people are using e-books, e-textbooks. Most books now can be found online. What is the future for hard copy books?
Well, I don't know, but my age, we love reading and holding our books while reading. I love hard copies. I can speak for myself. But I can see that a lot of people are actually tilting towards these soft copies. They prefer soft copies. That's because lots of people don't want to carry things about. They just want to hold onto their phones and see everything
and read it
anytime they feel like. You understand? And you know what it takes. Sometimes you could keep a book here. The next minute you can't find it, but your phone is always with you, or you give it out to somebody. You understand? I had a situation where a woman has bought the fourth copy of my book. That's because people always borrow from her. When they come, they say, please let me read this book, and they will not return it. But if you have it in your phone, anytime you can always Google and read.
Now let's talk about you. You are an author, and you have how many books now to your collection?
I have over 5,000 published stories.
Wow. Over 5,000.
Yes, published stories.
So how did you get into this industry or into this business?
Oh wow. Okay. The journey started for me when I was 10 years old. Right? Let me say I began to officially write when I was 10 years old. When I say officially, I mean that my first story when I was 10 was used for my school drama project. So that was the first time I knew that I could actually put out something and people would be interested in watching or looking at that thing. So after that time, I kept writing and I would beg people to read my works. They would read and they would say, no, you are not the one who wrote this. I know when you tell a 10-year-old or maybe a teenager, you are not the one who wrote this. You are invariably telling him that he is exceptionally good. So I took it to mean at that time that, oh, you are very good. When they say they don't believe you wrote this, it means you're very good. So I kept on like that. But when I got to secondary school towards my SSC, I began to fall in love with poetry. I read a lot of poems. I read Alfred Lord Tennyson, Ulysses. I read so many poems like that. There's a Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. That was the one I fell in love totally with. But when I got after my secondary school, I went back to prose. Okay. Understand? Because I felt I could hold someone when I tell a story. So I began to do more in prose. So by the time I left secondary school and I was trying to make a move to the tertiary institution, I began to write for hints. So I'll send my my articles to them. You can imagine how enthusiastic I was about writing. I will write all the way. I will write in JOS, then we'll write manually. You can't send through email. So I will just write and then take a night bus from JOS to Lagos to submit my script to the likes of Kayode Ajala, Tony Khan, and this other person that is with BBC now. So I'll just submit my articles to them and then take night bus back to JOS. So I was doing that until I finally was invited to work with them, and I worked with them for 2 years. Yes, all I wanted was a platform where I could write. So I achieved that.
Okay, so let's talk about inspiration. How do you get inspiration for your books? I can see 3 books here. The Wilderness Experience, which you said is about yourself. There's another one, Ojo Chenemi. So how do you come up with these titles? And firstly, how do you come up with the stories, then link the title of the book to it?
Yes, everything inspires me. When I sit with you, the way you behave, the way you talk, I get inspired. But basically, where I get my stories from people. When I sit with people, I try to engage them in conversations, and when they speak to me, I begin to picture what I could write with, what I could do with what they say. So when I get somewhere, people are running up and down, I'll just stand and watch the way they move, the way they behave and everything. All these, I can put them into my writing. So basically what inspires me is what people do. Okay.
So before we let you go, Mr. Japheth, there are a lot of people who are interested in writing. They do a lot of writing, probably through on the internet or social media and stuff like that. But for people who would want to publish their books now, how long does it take to publish a book?
Yes, it can take forever to publish a book. It depends on the writer, because each time you pick up a book, you always find that you needed to add something more to it. Even these ones that are already published, whenever I read them, I feel like, okay, I should have added something to it. Yes, that's one thing about publishing. So if you keep it, you keep adding until you get tired of adding, and it's okay, let me take it to the publishers and get it published. My books are published by my company, Life Stable. Okay. Yes, so,
and it took you, how long did it take you to publish your book? You
well,
publishing company now. Do you have to wait till forever, or
no? I don't have to wait until forever. When I get satisfied, I know that I don't need to go back to it again, because if I go back to it, I always want to add something. Okay. So I just push it to the publishers. Then the editors will come in, they edit, and then coming to the main aspect of book publishing, I think the marketing aspect is the challenge that most writers have. Okay. So many writers have books they published and they can't market them, they can't sell. You understand? This is where I do everything myself. I go on social media. Sometimes I send some of my stories to Linda Ikeji. She publishes it. If 1 or 2 persons get to see my name, anytime they get to see, it clicks.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr.
All right.
Prosper. We have to let you go.
Okay.
But it's also really interesting. I wish you could talk about books, because I actually love to read books. hard copy books. I'm one of those people that get tired reading the book.
You
off
just
the
buy
internet.
just buy my books. Don't just
No
buy my
problem, I'll
books. You
see
like
you
them.
behind the camera. All right, we'll be speaking with an author who has a lot of books, over 5,000 publications to his name. Very fantastic achievement right there. Thank you very much, Mr. Japheth Prosper, one more time for coming on the program. Good morning, Abuja. Hopefully, we'll continue this conversation some other time. But right now, we have to go on a break, and after that, Good Morning, Abuja will continue.